Okay, I got some exciting news. Like, this stuff is really good. If you're either a student or someone who's graduated recently, or B, someone who's hoping to buy their first home in the near future, then this video is for you. Now, starting with students, student loan interest is being eliminated. That's right, eliminated. Okay, well, maybe that's not 100% accurate. Let me elaborate. So as of April 1st, 2023, the government is actually eliminating student loan interest from accruing on national student loans. So this means that on your federal portion of your student loan, you will no longer have interest accruing after March 1st, 2023. This means that for students, we know it's been a struggle just trying to survive in this economy, as well as pay down your student debt. If you've entered your repayment period, or whether you haven't entered it yet, but you're just staying on top of the ball game and really making sure you can lower down that principal, this is big news for you. It may change some of your schedules as to how you are going forward with your payments. Of course, this specifically applies to those in Canada. For our American brothers and sisters who may be watching this, don't hold your breath for too long. Now, as I've mentioned in a previous video, I've been steadily trying to pay off my student loans within a year. So far, I'm happy to say that I'm about 2/3 of the way down, despite many different changes to my initial plans. Now, originally, as I mentioned in that video, I had the goal of paying off my provincial portion of my student loans first, because that was the portion of the student loans that was actually accruing interest even before the repayment period. Now, the other portion, the federal portion of the student loan, is the one that was frozen until the end of March 31st, 2023. So as of now, we are still okay, but April is coming around the corner, and then we'll see, or at least as of recording this video, and then we'll see that these changes come into effect. But the good thing is that this change will come into effect immediately. So you still have to pay off that initial interest, whatever it is that you currently have on your account that has accrued until March 31st. You will still have to pay off that portion, of course. But once April 1st begins, you expect that there's no more added interest accruing on your federal portion of your loan, at least. So I may update my plan in the near future, probably in another video. But this means that with each Bank of Canada interest rate rising for us here in Canada, that's the Bank of Canada that increases interest rates. In America, you have the Fed. So we have Tiff Macklem. And so each time I get an announcement about interest rates going up, a part of me just feels the pain. But then I look and remember my provincial portion is gone, but I still see that interest percent going up and up and up. And I know that I'm going to have to face that when April 1st arrives, unless if I pay off my loans before then. But the good news now is that for all of you who are in that same boat, just know that the interest rate that you have accrued at least until March 31st should be all that you're facing, at least for your federal portion. And as for the Ontario portion, or rather whatever province that you're in, that portion will still need to be paid down. And paying, if you pay your student loans off in a regular fashion, then typically what I found, at least when I was paying, was that about 97.5% of the amounts that I would send would go to my federal portion, and the remaining 2.5% would go to the provincial portion. So if you want to pay off that provincial portion specifically, then I recommend that you would go forward. I think you have to write a letter of intent, and I believe you also have to send a check or a draft and use that and directly specify in your letter of intent that you wanted to pay down the provincial portion of your loan. Then you'll be able to wipe it off. Usually it's a significantly lower portion than your federal amounts, and then you could just roll on with paying off your federal portion at your own payment plan. So that is really great news, right? But that's not all. Now, for those of us who are students or who recently graduated, we're probably in the same boat as those who are probably trying to buy their first home, right? And in that case, you've probably been looking around, you've been seeing that inflation is still running rampant to some degree. Interest rates are still either going up or temporarily being held at a certain level. There's a difficulty there into buying our first home. For many of us, that hurdle may not necessarily be the monthly payment, although that still could be viable, but most likely it is the down payment. Now, the beautiful thing is that the Canadian government, again, sorry, American brothers and sisters, the Canadian government has actually introduced a new savings account. Now, this savings account is called the FHSA. which typically stands for the Future Home Savings Account. Now, this account is special because it actually combines the benefits of both a TFSA and also an RRSP. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So the FHSA has the benefits of both a TFSA and an RRSP. Now, the TFSA, I believe, is equivalent to the Roth IRA in the States, and the RRSP that we have here is equivalent to the 401k in the States. Now, the benefit of the retirement account is that as you contribute to that account, you are actually able to have a tax credit. You get a certain percentage benefit on your taxes for contributing to that investment account. And then, of course, when you have that account, when you later withdraw it for the purpose of retirement, then you're able to really cash out on these benefits and not be penalized, and you will be taxed, but of course at a lower rate. And with TFSA, you have the benefit of contributing funds within a certain amount of contribution limit. And that amount inside your account is able to then be used for any underlying funds or products, and you're able to have that grow into any one of the investments that you choose tax-free. And of course, you can also withdraw that money tax-free as well. And so you get the benefits. So this new FHSA account is getting the benefits of a TFSA in terms of contribution, tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawal. But at the same time, you're getting the benefits of an RRSP where you are setting money aside for a certain purpose, and provided that you, of course, only use it, at least in this case, is for the purchase of your first home, then you're also able to reap those benefits for taxes. Now, this account has a contribution limit of $40,000, and it's starting out with $8,000 in the first year. So April 1st, 2023 is when this FHSA should come into effect. And by that date, you should be able to deposit $8,000 at a maximum. And for each following year, you'll gain another $8,000 room for contribution room. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that there are the RSP, your TFSA, your FHSA are a type of accounts. But within your accounts, you can have funds, and these would be your GICs, your mutual funds, any stocks, ETFs that you want to invest in. And so you can always choose one of those accounts as a vehicle, like a TFSA, but within it, you could probably open, let's say, a GIC or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing with the FHSA, where you would be able to create that account, but then within that account, you actually have the benefit of then investing into stocks or ETFs or whatever it is that you want to further invest your funds into. And so for me, I know that I've been using Questrade for my TFSA. In fact, I have a link in the description. So if you want to sign up with Questrade, either for your TFSA or with your FHSA, you'll be able to click the link that I have, and we'll both be able to get $50 upon your registration and your deposit. With whatever platform you decide to go with, I'd really recommend that you specifically choose an FHSA account that you're comfortable with, you like the UI and everything else, and then you're also able to invest in those underlying funds. Again, just to clarify on that contribution limit, it is specifically a contribution limit. So this means that yes, there's a maximum amount of $40,000 you could contribute in the entirety of your account, but it doesn't mean that's the total amount of money you can have in the account. And so if you're able to gain profit from stocks, you get dividends from ETFs or whatever it is that it may be, there's no limit on that, but the contribution limit is what is restricted to either 8,000 for the year, otherwise you get a penalty, or 40,000 altogether cumulatively. As for the tax benefit you get for depositing or contributing to this account, it should be on non-taxable credit, about 15% on eligible withdrawals. So we know how hard it is to pay off student loans, and especially how hard it is to save up for your first home, the first place that you want to really live in, and especially that down payment. No matter where your situation is, I'm assuming that if you are someone who's recently gone to school, if you've graduated recently, or if you're just entering into the workforce, you will benefit from one of these two things. And so I would highly recommend that you read up a bit more about the eligibility for them. I'll actually put those in the description as well. And I just really hope that you're able to benefit from this. So if you found this video useful or beneficial in any way, then I'd like to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. I'd love to know what you think. And also just hit that notification bell so that you can be up to date with any video that I release now or in the future. Thanks so much, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.